Hi everybody and welcome to another tutorial. Today I'm going to show you how to make the Transformers bracelet, and I'll show you why it's named Transformers in just a second. But this was designed by IE Loves to Loom on Instagram, so let me bring up her profile. So I think she had a really awesome account. She does a lot of hook only designs which are super duper unique and I love them. But she also did this Transformers design and it's pretty cool. Okay, the pictures aren't loading here. But definitely make sure to get her name there and check her out and give her a follow for me. She really deserves more followers. And today I'm going to show you how to make this. So it does take 5 bar pins aligned like this. So this is the side that you're technically supposed to wear this on. However, you might have seen before, the other side looks totally different. You can also crush it together and pull it, and it'll just look like this, free-forming, you know, it doesn't like move. And then you can spread it out and just kind of wear it however you like. So it's totally up to you. It transforms, you can wear it differently, you don't even know that it's the same bracelet sometimes. So you're also going to need a hook, a C-clip, and quite a few colors of bands. However, the Transformers bracelet was originally inspired by Transformers movies, so I'm going to be trying to replicate the Bumblebee from Transformers movie today. So I'm using like yellow, gray, black, blue, and white all the way over here. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. I will be using multiple colors, or I'll be using the same color for multiple parts of this bracelet, but we're going to get started. So first we're going to be placing the border bands, which are the cocoa in this bracelet. I'm using yellow. So you may want to drop a band on this pin here. I'm just going to do it because I've never done it before. I just want to see how it works. And then you're going to go down to the left and down to the right, up to the left, up to the right, just creating a little zigzag shape here. And then you're going to go straight on the left and on the right all the way until you reach the second to last peg. So I'm going to try and like move my camera just a little bit. Hopefully it's still good. Also, if you're going to make this bracelet, I'm sorry I didn't mention this before, if you're going to make this bracelet, definitely make sure that you are an advanced loomer, because one mistake in this bracelet will cost you. It will either take you a really long time to fix, or your entire bracelet will fall apart. So I would definitely not recommend this for beginning or intermediate loomers. If you're an advanced loomer, I wish you good luck in making this. It took me a little over a week to finally like memorize all the steps to it, because there are so many steps and it's complicated. However, it turns out really nice. So once you do that, definitely make sure that you're pushing your bands down. You will need it. You'll go up into the center on the left, up into the center on the right, and then down on both, and you'll finally meet on the second to last center peg. So you're leaving these 3 blank here. You don't need them. Come back to the beginning of your loom. Now we're going to place these pastel green glow bands here. They're a lot easier to see on this side, just so you know. It looks like a single chain, and it is. So I'm going to be using gray for that. So just from the second and the fourth peg here, just create 2 single chains going all the way straight down your loom. And also, you'll definitely want to pay attention for this entire length of the tutorial, just because you might think you know kind of the steps, but in reality, it actually changes. Like, there's a lot of things that you wouldn't expect to happen that actually do. So, I would just recommend paying attention. You shut off the tutorial early sometimes. So I just finished my left side. I'm doing the rest of my right side now. Again, push your bands down. come back to the beginning, and now we're going to place our zigzag bands, which in this bracelet are dark green. They're close to the border here, and you can see them better over here. So some of them you can see better over here, and some of them you can see better over here. It's just kind of a reference thing, you know. So I'm going to use black for this. And you're going to start on the outermost pin on both sides, and you're just going to go into the center. And just make a simple zigzag, so go back out, back in, back out, and so on and so forth, all the way down until you reach the end of your loom. You might want to push down these zigzag bands just a little bit when you are looming, but don't like crush them down in there, because we actually have to start looping, which is a lot different than most bracelets after this part. And definitely make sure that your bands do not overlap. If they're overlapping, you could loop wrong, and just like I said before, it could ruin your entire bracelet. So if you are making one that's 2 loom lengths long instead of just 1, you might want to pay even closer attention, because even one mess up could potentially make your bracelet not work. So I just did part of the right side, and now I'm coming back and doing it all over again. Well, not all over again, but finishing this side. We actually have one more step before we loop. I almost forgot it. It's a good thing I didn't, though. So now, after you finish this, you're going to kind of put your bands off to the side and come down back to the beginning of your loom. And now we're going to be placing these neon green bands here. You can't really see them in this side or in this side, just on the outer edge. It kind of gives it a little bit of like width, depth, thickness, however you want to call it. I'm just going to be using blue for this, because blue in Transformers Bumblebee is not as super prominent, it's just his eyes, so I'm just going to use blue for a little bit of this. You're going to want to start on the 2nd and the 4th pegs where your single chain started, go up and out to the left on the 2nd outermost left and the 2nd outermost right. Also, these bands aren't Rainbow Loom brand. I don't know what they are, but I got them from my sister. So then you're just going to go up 1 peg and then out to the 3rd. Up 1 peg, out to the 3rd. And continue doing this until you reach the end of your loom. I'm just going to do all of the left side first, and then I'll come back and do all of the right side. And you'll stop once you reach this last peg up here, and push your bands down, because these bands you will not actually loop at all. They will just kind of sit in here, but they are pretty, they're like a nice accent color. So if you want to use an accent color, totally do that. Like if you're making a neutral, like black, white, gray, clear maybe bracelet, you could put just one color in and make it look really nice. Alright, so once you reach the end, again, I'm just going to try and push mine down kind of fast, because this is going to be a pretty long tutorial since there's a lot of steps involved. So, now what we're actually going to do is start one of the looping processes. So you're going to want to turn your loom around so the arrows are now pointing towards you. And you're going to want to place capping bands on these 2 pegs, but you want to triple cap them. So, put it on your peg, twist it, put it back on, and twist it, put it back on again. I'm going to turn my loom sideways for this one. You can triple or double cap or quadruple cap, it doesn't matter, but it's just the cocoa in this bracelet right here. I triple capped this one, and it just kind of, I don't know, it just kind of doesn't show up very much. That's why I used the yellow. So now what you're going to do is go underneath of the capping band and underneath of that blue band, grab the black band, pull it into itself. Then you'll be grabbing this black band from inside of the other two blacks, pulling it out to itself, going inside underneath both of those blacks and that one blue layer, grab that band and pull it to itself. So this is a pretty simple process for this. You just have to push one band out of the way, but it does get a lot more complicated than this. So don't be like, oh, this bracelet is so easy, because it's not super duper easy, but it's definitely doable. It's probably probably pretty far up in the difficult bracelet list, just because there's a lot of steps you have to remember. And you're looping this last one back up here. And don't really push these down yet because we will have to do something to them. Just come back to the beginning and repeat this on the other side, and then I'll show you what else you have to do. The reason I said don't crush these zigzag bands all the way down is because you might accidentally grab, your single chain band or your border band, and it just kind of takes longer if you end up doing that. So just make sure that you're not looping anything except these black ones. And again, once you do that, you can either stay at the end of the loom or come back to the beginning. It doesn't matter. What you're going to want to do, though, is take off the top part of the black band here. So this is the zigzag band, and you're just going to take off the top. So this one's easier to see. You're just going to grab this top band and release it off the pin. Grab this top band, release it off the pin. You're not doing anything with the underneath one, just the top one. Just like, whoa, sorry, it slipped from my fingers. So you're going to just do this all the way down the loom, just grabbing the top black band and taking it off of that peg, and this is just for these two center pegs. You're not going to do it to the outside as well, just the inside. Okay, once you get to here, now you're going to want to push these bands down. Come back to the beginning, and don't get confused on this first one because there's no blue band. Again, you're just grabbing the top band. The blue one just kind of divides it in half, so you know kind of what one you're getting. But on the first one, the blue band isn't there, so it's a little bit harder, just a little bit. Okay, once you finish that, again, push down the outside and inside bands alike, so you have room to place and loop even more. Okay, once you do that, come back to the beginning, turn your loom back around so the arrows are now pointing away from you. Now what you're going to want to do is get the bands that you're going to use for these yellow ones. It will also show up very prominently on this side. So what I'm going to be using for that is gray. Again. So you're going to want to take it again from this second and the 4th peg. And you will want to use pretty stretchy bands for this because you're taking it from this peg, not stretching it just up to here, but kind of twisting it in between the pins and kind of fitting it in there and going up to the 3rd center. So don't get confused, don't like actually make an X with your bands, I just twist them to get it in between the pins. So take it from this peg, pull it to here. Go up to the next peg, grab your band, maybe you have to wiggle it in between, however you can get it on that pin. Just make sure that it doesn't like come over this pin like this. You definitely want it in between. And you're just going to do that all the way up your loom. So again, going like a really far stretch. Normally it's just a far stretch, but this one's really far, since you're going up a whole extra center peg. Or like really large arrow shapes. Or teepees. You could call them teepees. I don't know. Whatever floats your boat. And these bands might get twisted, but they're fairly easy to untwist when you take it off the loom. Oops, I dropped that one in there. It's not going to come out because the bands are in the way. Okay, sorry about the inconvenience. This band is too thin, I don't trust that one. I don't want it to break. And my center pin came out. Just be aware if your center pin comes out, make sure to push it back down. And your last two will be placed up and into this very center one, and to the very center one up here. Now, put those to the side, and now we're going to be placing these lime green jellies in here. You can't see them so much on this side, but they're right there by the yellow. So I'm going to use yellow for this again. What you're going to want to do is take it from this center peg and just a simple out to the left and out to the right. Go up one peg, out to the left, and out to the right. Go up another peg, out to the left, out to the right. It's a pretty short stretch. You shouldn't have too much trouble with this. And again, just repeat this until you reach the end of your loom. Sorry, I was like looking away and I tried to grab a band and then it wasn't there. Okay, I really don't want these bands to get stuck inside my loom again. Your last set will be placed here because these already go in a V shape here. So now you're going to come back to the beginning of your loom and we're going to place our last bands, which are these infinity cap bands. So this part is a little bit complicated, so pay attention. You're going to take two of whatever bands you're using for the center. I'm using white, and in here it's fuchsia, just in case you didn't know. And you're going to take it from the first to the second peg, but on your way there, you're going to twist it into an infinity capping band. Again, take two more white, you're placing two at a time here. Go from this peg to this peg, twist it. Try to twist it in the same direction every time. It might help when your cap band, it might help that your cap bands don't pop out. From this peg to the next peg, twist it. So you're kind of creating a double single, but you're twisting it. in the center. So if you've ever made like a growing bracelet, you'll know you have to twist bands when you are looping. And these will make it so that the bands aren't like flying, or not flying, but like flowy everywhere and popping out of your bracelet all non-organized. So you will notice that every peg except the first and the last one will have two sets on it with 4 loops in total. So place your last one there. You can take these, pull them out. And now what we're going to do is place our last capping bands. So what you're going to do is you're just going to place 2 more capping bands, which are these fuchsia ones, because this one right here is part of the infinity capping bands. You can attach your C-clip here. I'm going to take 2 more of my yellow bands. There's a white over here. And I'm going to triple cap these last pegs, but I'm going to turn my loom around just so you can see it. So I'm taking my hook for this, just triple cap, lay it on this peg, triple cap, lay it on this peg. Okay? Now once you've done that, we're going to start the final looping process. You don't have to place any more bands. So first what you're going to do is go underneath of both of these sets of infinity cap bands. So this one you don't have to push here, but this white one, the second white one, you kind of have to push both of those bands back. Make sure you are pushing them both back. Oops. Grab the top yellow and pull it down and out to itself. And this next part should be easier once you've looped one. Just go back in, make sure it's not too twisted. Loop it down out to itself. Go up to the next one. Again, you really only have to push those 2 out of the way, but make sure you are going inside both. Make sure you catch all of the bands, the infinity caps on it, pull it down to itself, go up to the next one, grab the top band, pull it down and out to itself, and just do this all the way down the loom. And then at this last one, you're only going to have 2 loops, but you're still going to just pull it out down to itself anyway. And I'm grabbing my hook weird just so you can see it. You may want to push these down a little bit so that they don't pop off, because if they pop off, it's a little bit difficult to put it back on. It's not too bad, but it's just better safe than sorry. So now what you're going to do is go all the way up to here, or no, sorry. You're going to go inside of these infinity caps again. So inside of this first one here, you're going to grab the top band here. So mine just got twisted because I was not getting it right. Okay, so go inside of that cap band, grab the top band, it will be your very long stretch band, and you're going to pull it up and out to here. Now go in, grab the next one, pull it out and up to here. So you're not stretching them all the way back to themselves. That would probably make your bands break. So I'm going to put this down so that I can just teach you easier. You're going to push back these bands again. Grab the top band, not both of them, just the top one. And it probably is not the best idea to grab both of them at the same time. So make sure to go underneath and just grab the top one. Pull it up and out to itself. Grab the other one, pull it up and out to itself. Go up to the next one. Just pushing the infinity caps out of the way. Make sure that you go inside both of them. And grab these bands. Pull them back towards themselves. Definitely make sure that you are going consecutive peg by peg, just so that you don't miss one. And just do this for all of the rest of the center bands. And your last one will be right here on the third peg, or on the third peg in the center. And push these bands down because we will need to do some looping. So what we're actually going to do now is take these zigzag bands, the black ones, and put them back on the peg. So remember, we took them off before, now we're putting them back on top. So just find that loop, make sure it is the one loop that will go to this peg. I'll bring this up here. So this is my loop. I'm just pulling it back over the peg like regular. It doesn't stretch any bands. It doesn't act all weird. It just grabs, grab the band, pull it back over. Make sure that you're just pulling the black band over, not grabbing the blue. And make sure that you're only grabbing the one side of the black. Sorry, you couldn't see that. You're not grabbing both ends. You're just grabbing the one closest to the inner peg. So you will do that for all of the pegs with zigzag bands on them on both sides. And the last one here, I'm going to repeat this on the other side. Just making sure you're grabbing the right band. This video is obviously going to be a lot longer than the rest of them that I have. Okay, once you finish that, come back to the beginning. You don't need to push your bands down. What you're going to do is go underneath of this triple capped peg here and grab this gray band and pull it out to the outside. So it will kind of follow along with this line here. Go in, grab this other one, just pull it out. This is your single chain bands that we're looping right now. So go up into this next peg, grab that very bottom single chain band and pull it outside. So you're not pulling it to itself, you're pulling it to the outside. I hit my camera again. And just pull it out. Pull that one to the outside, that one, and so on and so forth down your loom for all of the single chain bands. And then your last one, again, will just be pulled out. Now push down all of the bands on the outside. And now we're going to loop our border. So go underneath of the center band here. I'm going to push these down too. Go underneath of the center, grab the top band, pull it back towards itself, grab the next one, pull it back towards itself. Then go underneath of that band, the triple cap band as well, and then pull the yellow to the outside. Go underneath of that triple cap band and all of the bands there, and pull this one straight up, and so on down the loom. This is a regular border. There might be a couple of bands on the border, but it shouldn't be too stressful because there's only a couple. And like I said before, we're not looping these blue ones at all, so don't be like, you forgot to loop the blue ones. It's not supposed to be looped. And then once you go up into here, you're then going to pull it down into the center peg. Come back here and do the same thing. Make sure you're going under, grabbing that very bottom one and pulling it to itself. This is probably the most simple part of the bracelet, is just looping the border. Then pull this one up to the center, grab the bottom one, pull it down to the center. Before I tear this off, or not tear it, but take this off, I'm going to take off those three, and then I'm just going to grab this band with my fingers, and grab the other end, put it on, and now I'm going to pull this off the loom and hope that it actually resembles the Bumblebee character from Transformers very well, because IE Loves to Loom, sorry, I couldn't get that out. IE Loves to Loom suggested to me that I try to make it look like a Transformer after the bracelet name. And so I was like, oh, I have yellow, I'll try and do Bumblebee. And she did Optimus Prime, and I think she did Optimus Prime, and it looks really similar, so I think it looks really good. Don't rip off your bands, like, super quick. Try and make sure that they don't break. And make sure that doesn't come off. And voila, here is your bracelet. So this is what mine looks like. It has a little bit of blue on the sides, and then white, gray, black, and yellow on the center. And then on the other side, it's a lot more gray, black, and a little bit of blue here as well, just underneath of these black ones. So that's all for this very long video. It's like almost 33 minutes long. Thank you for watching. Make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. I'll also have IE Loves to Loom's name in the description box below. Definitely make sure to check out her account. Give her a follow for me. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you next time.